A heartwarming story about a 19-year-old girl named Yunyoung and her special bond with her hearing-impaired mother. Yunyoung always brings joy to her mother, who struggles to speak clearly due to her hearing impairment. After school, Yunyoung surprises her mother with her favorite sticky rice cake while wearing her school uniform. Yunyoung is patient and kind, trying to teach her mother how to improve her speech. Even though her mother feels embarrassed when attempting to speak, Yunyoung continues to encourage her. Yunyoung works part-time at a shop, and one day, she meets a group of girls who are having a great time together. They strike up a conversation and eventually give Yunyoung a thoughtful gift, a book to help her achieve her dream of becoming a government student. Although Yunyoung no longer attends school, she pretends to her mother that she is still studying. She sends pictures of herself in her school uniform with her new friends, which makes her mother incredibly happy. One day, as Yunyoung's mother coughs at the table, a kind-hearted guy offers her a glass of water. At the same time, Yunyoung sends her mother pictures of the two of them together from the previous day. A guy at the table comments on how Yunyoung is becoming more beautiful and expresses his desire to marry her once he graduates, as she is no longer a minor. He makes inappropriate remarks about making Yunyoung happy every night. Yunyoung's mother can't tolerate the guy's disrespect toward her daughter and slaps him in defense of her beloved child. A guy visited the cafe where Yunyoung worked part-time and ordered drinks. Yunyoung refused to take payment from him as he had been kind to her mother. While Yunyoung was making his drink, the guy stared at her intently. Later that night, as the guy was drinking alcohol, he couldn't get Yunyoung out of his mind. Yunyoung, on her way home, sensed that someone was following her. She tried to walk faster, but the guy caught up to her, and she ended up being assaulted by him on a grassy area. The guy threatened Yunyoung, saying he would harm her mother if she reported the assault to the police. He insisted that he wanted to make her happy, like he did to Yunyoung. At that point, Yunyoung couldn't bear it any longer. She found a nearby stone and used it to defend herself, eventually leading to the guy's death. When she later spoke to the police, Yunyoung was not in the right state of mind. During a moment with her mother, she asked that they not accept any help from others, not wanting to be pitied. In court, Yunyoung was sentenced to 5 years in prison due to a lack of evidence, as the guy had died during the struggle. Her mother pleaded and cried, but Yunyoung was still sent to prison. She shared a cell with 5 inmates, including an ex-teacher who had accidentally killed 5 people in a house fire. Lyra, a fellow inmate, befriended Yunyoung and supported her. However, another inmate, Sarung, made Yunyoung's first day in prison miserable. There was also Jang Ami, the last inmate imprisoned for adultery before it was abolished, who kept to herself. Yunyoung cried every night and avoided connecting with others. One morning, as they ate together, Lyra advised Yunyoung to eat well because they needed energy for work and asked what kind of job she wanted. Yunyoung inquired about the best-paying job, which turned out to be in repair work, so she decided to take it to earn money. As they lined up and counted off, an inmate from another room noticed Yunyoung's undeniable beauty. Sarung seemed to ignore them, giving the impression she didn't need anyone. When they questioned when they would get paid, the police girl hit one of the inmates and said they wouldn't receive pay because they were not in the real world. Soon SEU defended Yunyoung, which upset the police girl. That night Yunyoung was crying, but soon Jae approached her and gave her a paper and a ballpoint pen. She advised Yunyoung to write down her emotions and pray. The next morning, Yunyoung felt some relief in her life, adapting quickly to the prison environment, cleaning, and performing chores. Yunyoung asked Soon Jae where she should leave the letters she wrote at night, and pointed to a clip near the window. Yunyoung's mother, Kyung-suk, visited her in prison and brought her food, but the police informed her that they couldn't accept outside food, and it would only cause trouble for her daughter. Kyung-suk, heartbroken, left the prison in tears. She visited her daughter again, and they had a face-to-face conversation. Kyung-suk was troubled and talked to her daughter, recalling how she had taught her daughter and how proud she was of her. This moved Yunyoung to tears. Yunyoung quickly adapted to her new environment and took on tasks without hesitation. During a room inspection, the police girl noticed Yunyoung lying down and seemingly unwell. Her cellmate suggested that she might have a fever and needed to see a doctor. When Yunyoung ran to see the doctor, the police chased her, as she had discovered she was pregnant as a result of the previous assault and didn't want anyone outside to know. Yunyoung decided not to accept visitors and kept her mother from facing her, which saddened Kyung-suk. One day, Sarung saw Yunyoung attempting to abort the baby by harming herself and was deeply upset. She encouraged Yunyoung to make a different choice, either having the baby or seeking an abortion without hurting herself. The police girl witnessed this altercation. In their room, Soon-jae suggested that they seek help from civic organizations, but Yunyoung declined, as she preferred to spend her 5 years in prison rather than live in shame. She worried that her mother would suffer greatly when she learned about the pregnancy. Soon-jae, however, assured Yunyoung that her mother was stronger than she thought. The following day, Yunyoung was assigned to a job in the security division, which was a special order from the warden. The job was described as easy, and Yunyoung quickly adapted to her tasks, organizing and cleaning the room. At night, she wrote a letter to her mom, explaining that if she could wait for 1 year and become a prison model, they would allow her to study. Her mother understood her intentions. While working, she felt pain in her stomach, prompting the warden to allow her to see a doctor. She was 6 months pregnant, but it didn't show because the baby was evading detection, aware of her mother's feelings. Her roommates offered their support for the sake of the baby. In court, the lawyer explained the details of the case, but Yunyoung remained silent. When asked if she wanted to speak, she admitted to the crime, accepted the sentence, and expressed her longing to return to her mother's arms. The jury sentenced her to 1 year in prison, which brought a sense of relief. During a bench where they were all sitting together and enjoying a good time, Sarung did something that caught the attention of the police. Lyra intervened and advised them to be more considerate because the baby could hear them. In their room, the inmates were enjoying some fruits, and Lyra playfully tossed a piece of mango to Seon-soo. Seon-soo, on the other hand, asked Yunyoung if she could help her organize her books. She handed Yunyoung her favorite book and encouraged her to take the time she needed to heal. Yunyoung inquired about whether an ex-convict could still take a government employee exam, which drew the attention of everyone in the room. Soon-jae chose not to respond, pretending she didn't hear the question. There was a touching moment between Yunyoung and the warden, who offered her a sticky rice cake. The warden empathized with Yunyoung, as he had a daughter around the same age as Yunyoung. One night, the inmates woke up one by one and headed to the restroom. By morning, Yunyoung woke up and went to the bathroom. She noticed a drawing of cosmos flowers on the wall, which brought a smile to her face. The next day, while the group was engaged in a sewing project, Yunyoung was drawing a cosmos flower. Soon-jae praised her for her artistic talent and mentioned that she had asked the warden whether an ex-convict could still take a government employee exam. The answer was affirmative. After 5 years, Yunyoung could indeed take the exam. This news brought a smile to Yunyoung's face, indicating her happiness. Lyra showed her roommates the clothes she had made for the baby on the clothesline, and they were delighted. They even made a playful joke about raising a baby prisoner because of the fabric they used. However, Lyra explained that it was the only fabric she had and left, followed by her roommates. At night, the roommates were busy with various craft projects, being cautious not to wake up Yunyoung. When Yunyoung did wake up, they pretended to be asleep, and once she went back to sleep, they resumed their activities. The next day, Seon-soo discovered her torn pants and questioned who had done it. It was Lyra, who had used the fabric to make baby clothes. Another roommate found this amusing. During a discussion about what name to give the baby, they settled on Soon-jae for the baby's name. Soon-jae meant to protect the fragile one in Korean, and they all liked it. The police girl also joined in, helping Sarung make a toy for the baby, while Soon-jae and Lyra made baby clothes, and the police girl provided sewing tools. Yunyoung had a tough time walking and struggled to grab her medicine and the letters she had written. She fainted, and her roommates were shocked when they found her on the ground, struggling to breathe. They desperately sought help for her. Yunyoung lost consciousness and gave birth while unconscious, and despite the efforts of the nurse and the doctor, it was a difficult situation. Unfortunately, both Yunyoung and the baby did not survive. A girl who collected the letters explained that they were all located in the same room, and they were the letters Yunyoung had written for each of them. Soon Jae read Yunyoung's letter, expressing gratitude for her prayers and kindness. In return, Seonsu's letter thanked Yunyoung for encouraging her to continue her studies once she was released, and Lyra was glad to be the best sister she had inside. Yunyoung was overjoyed to meet her roommates one last time and expressed the love Lyra had for everyone, which she often kept hidden. She mentioned how Jangmi, who was exceptionally beautiful with great skin, would one day find a worthy man and how she hoped to attend her wedding. In her letter to Sarung, Yunyoung requested that once she got out, Sarung should try putting on makeup and let her hair grow long. Because Yunyoung believed she had the most beautiful face inside the prison. She also reminded her that her parents hadn't abandoned her, but it was only to protect her, and she felt abandoned due to her own thoughts. Yunyoung's mother rushed to see her in the hospital, where Yunyoung was lying on a bed. Her mother cried, and she brought a pizza for her daughter. She hoped that in the next life, Yunyoung would enjoy being 7 years old at 7 and 15 years old at 15. In the next scene, there was a child in a field of flowers, spending quality time with their family. Kyung-suk, Yunyoung's mother, was shown ironing clothes with a government employee interview certificate beside her.